what we're going to do here is we're going to kind of simulate what it will feel like in the exam, right? And I'm going to segmentize this into competency first, so it's going to be easier for you to navigate. And what's going to happen is we're going to have 10 questions here, testing on the ICF Core Competency 1 first. Okay, so I'm going to give a scenario, 4 possible options, deciding what's the best action, what's the worst action, based on whatever we kind of recapped earlier, right? So the first question is this. Okay, so first question, a coach is meeting with a prospective client who is growing a new business. The coach and the potential client quickly establish an easy connection. The coach is excited about the opportunity to work with the client. The prospective client shares that they are looking for a coach who can support them with decision-making, leadership presence, and navigating stakeholder expectations as they expand. The coach finds the client highly motivated and feels confident they can support them well. As the coach and the client are ending their conversation, the prospective client briefly mentions the name of their new business and casually describes the niche market they are serving. The coach immediately recognizes the business name because the coach is an investor in a more established competitor business operating in the same community industry. The coach is not involved in daily operations but holds a financial stake. The coach also knows that local industry communities are small and business relationships can be sensitive. What should the coach do? So you have 2 questions here. What is the best action? Let's explore this first. Not say anything. Try to keep their role as an investor in a competing business separate from their role as a coach. B, share that the business name sounds familiar and make a mental note to determine whether it is a competitor business later that evening. Or C, share their role as investor in the competitor business only if the potential client follows up to pursue coaching with the coach. Or D, share their role as an investor in a competing business and acknowledge the possibility of a conflict of interest with the client.
D.
A, B, C, or D?
D.
Okay, so D. So let's look at what is the 2 closest answer. What's the 2 most correct answer?
C and D.
Okay, C and D. Okay, yeah, C and D. And between C and D, you would share D.
Yeah, because C sounds like conditional. Then like if they already ask you to be a coach, then you share like, then it's more like, how will they trust you then, you know?
Oh.
Like,
Okay, so notice the keyword here. The keyword here was conflict of interest. So this was the earlier keyword that we noticed earlier in the core competency. Confidentiality, conflict of interest. Right, so this answer will be D. Okay, now what is the worst action?
Oh, okay.
The same 4 questions, the same 4
Can you
answers.
repeat again?
So the same 4, you have not say anything. Okay, so not say anything. Try to keep the role as investor. Share the business name, sounds familiar, and make a mental note to determine whether it's a competitor business later that evening. So usually you have 2 answers that are good 2 answers that are bad. So between the 2, you choose the better or the worse option.
1, right? Not say anything.
Okay, so between sharing the business name and then not saying anything, then I will choose the one that is the worst, which is not say anything. Okay, so the worst will be A. Okay.
Wait, sorry, there was A, B, C, D, E.
A, B, C, D.
No, D only. D only.
D only. Oh, okay.
Yeah, A, B, C, D.
I don't know where your E come from.
I don't know. He said until D. Then, I mean C. Then like don't. Okay, never mind. Sorry. I think my brain. Okay, can. I'm sure it'll be fine.
Question 1 only. Question 1. Okay, so if you see E, you need to raise your hand and tell the examiner. I think I'm seeing wrong number.
Good to know. Good to know.
Okay, so there's only 4 option A, B, C, D. The same set will be tested for the best, and the same set will be for the worst.
Okay.
So usually it'll be 2 very, very close, 2 very close. So automatically elimination, right? Yeah. Now another keyword is what is the word that they use at the start? Right? Yeah, usually, right? There's certain phrases that say share, partner, co-create, empathize, demonstrate support. This kind of keywords alert you to the better option. But sometimes it can be a trick question. Okay, so quick answer as well. So just be aware that certain words and phrase that opens up that very, very best relates to that topic. Okay, so here, okay, so notice here, right? So D, because it demonstrates the handling of the conflict of interest. So you will definitely have one question, at least a few questions on conflict of interest, right? And then the worst if A, because it's withholding. Okay, so yeah, then B, it's although it delays responsibility, but then the client's uninformed, right? So that's why the best is D, and then the worst is A. Okay, now let's go to the next question. Question 2. Okay. Here, a coach is hired by an organization to coach a senior leader as part of a leadership development initiative. During the contracting conversation, the coach clearly explained that the coaching sessions are confidential and that the sponsor will receive only the information agreed upon in advance. The sponsor seems uncomfortable with the arrangement and emphasizes that they trust the coach's judgment. Several sessions in, the client shares frustration about the manager and describes feeling micromanaged. The client also says they're debating whether to stay in the role and ask the coach not to share any of this with HR because it will affect how they see me. The client appears worried about politics and future opportunities. A few days later, the HR sponsor emails the coach, "We are going to do talent reviews next week. Can you tell me if the leader is coachable and whether they're improving their relationship with the manager? Any major concerns we should know?" What should the coach do? Okay, so what's the best action here? A, provide a high-level summary that the coaching is progressing and the client's engaged without mentioning the manager conflict. B, ask the sponsor what specific details they want so the coach can decide what is safe to share. Or C, remind the sponsor of confidentiality and discuss with the client what, if any, the client consents to share. Or D, share the client's concern in the general way because the sponsor is paying for the coaching. A, B, C, or D?
C?
B.
C.
D?
B.
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 Okay, so that is B, and then Joanne C. Okay,
I forget
so
already, but yeah, I think C.
C, yeah? Okay, C. Answer is C.
Yay!
What is B?
B is ask the sponsor what specific details they want so the coach can decide if it's safe.
Oh.
Uh,
And what's C?
C is remind the sponsor of confidentiality and discuss with the client, if any, the client's consents to share.
Oh.
Okay, so this time remember that earlier we mentioned that we will go back to the confidentiality agreement, whatever was discussed earlier, right? And then based on that, if they still want to kind of talk to the client, I get them to talk to the client directly rather than go through me. Okay, yep. Okay, what's the worst action?
D.
D. D.
Ah.
Okay, how about Joanne?
I forgot the options already.
Okay,
Wait.
So A is provide high level summary. B is
Okay, I
to,
guess D. D.
oh, am I sharing screen?
No, that's why we are like
Oh.
trying to remember.
I thought I've been sharing screen. Okay.
No, cannot remember.
No wonder lah. We were having hard time
What?
trying to
I'm
remember.
not listening complete. I was really listening very hard.
But good job. You're listening and got it correct.
Swear. Finally, we got it.
I was like, okay, good. I see on my screen. Okay, I didn't realize that.
Oh.
Yeah. Okay. So that is my
Yeah.
transparency. Okay. So what's the worst action? You got
I
4.
think D.
D.
No. Wait, not D. Then general way.
Share the concern in general way because that's supposed to be.
B.
And B.
So the coach can decide what is safe to share. Yeah, well, I also don't know. Maybe. So the coach can decide what is.
D.
Okay, lah, D. D is the worst.
D is the worst.
Hmm.
Okay. So the answer is D. Okay. Share the client's concern in a general way because the sponsor is paying for the client. So this is, you are avoiding the real issue. Like it's not really doing anything.
Yeah.
So providing a high level summary is also not, it is okay, but it may not be the best, right? So C is the best because it uses client's consent. D is because sponsor pays does not override ethics. That's a keyword. Okay, I'm not paying, I'm a sponsor pay, right? So,
Yeah,
right, so it doesn't mean that way. So in the same way, if today it was a parenting coaching, right, the parents paying for the children, it doesn't mean that I have to tell the parent everything the child say.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so it's still aligned to the competencies. Okay, so let's go to question 3. Okay, so here, very, very interesting question. A coach is approached by a close friend who has recently been promoted in a leadership role. The friend shares that they feel overwhelmed and uncertain about leading former peers. They say, I don't want to talk to someone who feels like an outsider. I trust you and I want you to coach me. The coach feels honored and believes that they have the expertise to support the friend. The coach also knows they often socialize with this friend in shared circles and sometimes hear informal updates about workplace dynamics. The friend asks if they can keep it strictly professional and promise that they will not bring coaching into their friendship. The coach also recognizes that rejecting the request could impact the friendship. The friend wants to start immediately and says that they're willing to pay the coach standard fee. What's the best action? A. Agree to coach because trust already exists and the friend is willing to pay professional fee. B. Discuss the ethical risk of a dual relationship, clarify boundaries, and explore whether coaching is appropriate or whether referral is better. Or C. Informal advice and leadership tips rather than a formal coaching relationship. Or D. Decline quickly to avoid complications without discussing the reasons.
B.
B. B. Then it's also say B. Right? So the answer is B.
Woo!
Discuss because of this dual relationship.
Yeah.
Okay? Yeah. So boundaries must still be explored. What's the worst action?
Um, A.
A. Agree to coach because trust already exists. Then you say no. C. Is that here C? C. Yeah.
A.
A. Yeah. Okay. A.
A.
Okay. Yeah, A. Okay. Agree to coach because trust exists already. So this assumption of trust. Huh? So A because assumes trust eliminates tactical risk. Right. So this is it cannot be the case. Huh? So especially when there's a lot of high level trust. If I'm coaching my best friend or I'm coaching someone that I know very, 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 very well, I must be very, very careful because then because of the relationship, it might compromise the coaching. Okay. Good. Now, let's go to the next one. Question 4. Okay, scope of practice and referral. A coach has been working with a client for several sessions and around performance, confidence, and leadership communication. The client has recently been missing deadlines and says they feel constantly exhausted. The coach notices the client's tone and becomes flatter over time, and the client often says they feel dumb. In a session, the client shares they have been sleeping poorly for months, feel hopeless, hopeless more days than not, and are struggling to concentrate at work. The client says, I don't want therapy. Coaching is what I need. If I can just get disciplined again, I will be fine. The client also says they feel safe with the coach and don't want to start all over again with someone else. And the coach feels concerned, but also doesn't want the client to feel rejected. What should the coach do? Best action. A. Continue coaching and focus on habit building and productive strategies to help the client regain discipline. B. Acknowledge the client's experience. Clarify the limits of coaching and explore referral to appropriate professional support while discussing how coaching may or may not continue. Or C. Reassure the client that many high performers feel this way and that coaching will help them recover. Or D. End the coaching relationship immediately and advise the client to seek therapy. A, B,
B.
C. B.
B.
B. Okay, so acknowledge the client. Huh? Answer is B. Okay, so acknowledge, this is keyword. You know this, reassure and okay, doesn't sound correct, right? And continue also the acknowledge. So you notice the keyword in front, and then the rest what it says here. Okay, so some of the clues is the keyword at the front, and then the phrases that they use later on. So what are the worst action? A, B, C. D,
C.
C, C, and D. Answer is C.
Oh man, why?
Okay, so both are bad. Okay. One is reassures the client that many high performers feel this way.
Growth mindset.
Ah, because of that growth mindset. Okay, so because C over promises coaching as a substitute. Okay, so although D is like, oh, you so fast and then refer. Yes, it's good to refer because it's beyond coaching, but you end too quickly, right? But C is just telling them, okay, like coaching can help you also. Yeah. For example, if
Wow.
today a client say, I experienced a miracle with Joanne's coaching, you can go for miracle coaching. Yeah. So it's like an overpromise of a substitute. So between
Mm.
C and D, then C will be a worse option than D.
But actually, B and D is a good option. A and C is a bad option.
Yes, yes, yes. A is also A is a bad option. Yeah, because A is continue coaching and focus on this. So you're not actually doing anything. You're avoiding the real issue here. Okay, let's go to the next question. Question number 5. Okay. A coach is writing content for their website and wants to demonstrate the impact of coaching with a compelling real life story. The coach recalls a past client who made a major breakthrough in confidence and left a toxic workplace after several sessions. The coach believes the story would inspire future clients and build credibility. The coach plans to remove the client's name, change the industry, and adjust a few personal details. The coach also thinks the client would be proud to be featured because the client was enthusiastic at the end of engagement. The coach is in a hurry to publish, and the reasons that is anonymous enough. No consent has been requested or documented. What should the coach do? A. Publish the story with identifying details removed since it will be anonymous. B. Ask the client for explicit permission, preferably written, before using any part of the story, even if anonymized. Or C. Share the story only in private setting with other coaches rather than publicly online. Or D. Rewrite the story as a composite based on memory without contacting the client.
B.
Wow. There's a B.
B. Ask the client for explicit permission. Okay, let's take a look. Yes, B would be the best, right?
But I don't know what's the worst.
Now the worst. This is very tricky. The worst. Okay, rewrite the story, share the story in public setting, or remove the identifying details.
A.
Okay, so then you say A.
Uh, A, yeah, A.
A. A is the worst. Okay, so let's take a look whether A is the answer. Yes, A is the worst. Okay, so because you are publishing it, right? So now A, anonymizing does not equals to be ethical. So today, this is where a lot of coaches also violate. They go on LinkedIn, they go on social media, say, "Oh, I recently had a client who had this breakthrough," even though they anonymize the client's name. But even if the details have been kind of like replaced, but there's still details that can identify the client. So it's also not very, very good. So today with social media, a lot of coaches, they want to show off their coaching. They may go online or go LinkedIn, publish stories of their case studies without getting the client's permission, even if I anonymize. So in a very same way, let's say today I said, hey, I want to publish this exam video on YouTube. Can I have permission? I need to ask for permission first before I publish. Right. In the same way, if let's say I want to publish a testimonial or of a client, I also need to make sure that the client is okay with me publishing it. Yep. Okay. So that's the worst option. Question 6. A client agrees to allow the coach to record the session for a coach personal self-review, stating they are comfortable with it as long as it stays private. After several sessions, the coach begins mentor coaching and realizes that one short segment of the recording would be a perfect example to discuss a coaching example, a moment. The coach considers extracting a 2-minute audio clip and shared it with the mentor coach, thinking it will be fine because the mentor coach is also bounded by confidentiality. The coach also considers editing out the names and any company references. The client has not been informed of this possible use and has not given consent for anything beyond self-review. What should the coach do? A. Use the clip after removing identifying information since it's only for professional development. B. Ask the client for explicit consent for this new purpose before sharing any recording segment. Or C. Share the clip only if the mentor coach specifically requests evidence. Or D. Describe the situation to the mentor coach without using the actual recording. A, B, C, or D.
B lah.
B. Ask the client for explicit consent. Okay, so the answer is B. Okay, so this is something very, very important, right? Doesn't matter whether the what was said previously. I just need to make sure that the client is aware that this is now being used for a different purpose. Okay, so what is the worst action?
A lah, useful.
Yeah.
A? Yep, A will be the worst. Okay, so I cannot just use a clip like this, right? So, for example, one of the key challenge I have is always I want to record sessions, to put on YouTube, but then not everybody will be comfortable with it. So I need to be able to ask them, say, hey, is it okay I put on YouTube for everyone's learning? So, so people always ask me, Jedi, can you have more coaching demo videos? I say I can, but it depends on the client, whoever is open to be recorded and put on YouTube, right? So this is where we say, okay, if we want to use the clip, it must be okay for the person. Yeah. So that's where you have A. The worst is A. Okay. D, although it's better, but the coach will still consider confidentiality when it's community details. Or C, it still bypasses request. Okay, so share the clip only if the mentor coach specifically requests evidence, right? So even if whoever asks, I need to make sure that I have permission from it. Okay, so that's question 6. Question 7. A coach with a client for 6 months and the engagement ends positively. The client is grateful and says the coaching helped them earn a promotion. At the final session, the client presents the coach with an expensive gift voucher and says, please accept this. Without you, I wouldn't have achieved this. The coach feels uncomfortable because the gift is far beyond the usual token gifts. The coach also worries that refusing might offend the client and harm the relationship. The client adds, I also want to recommend you to my leadership team, and I will mention how much you have supported me. What is the best action the coach should do? A. Accept the gift to honor the client's gratitude and avoid embarrassment. B. Thank the client, discuss the coach policy and ethical boundaries, and explore an alternative way for the client to express appreciation. Or C. Accept the gift but keep it private and don't mention it. Or D. Refuse the gift abruptly and end the conversation quickly.
B.
A.
A.
B. The one say A is a business consultant.
Yeah. B.
Not a coach.
In practice, in the real world practice, they usually do A lah.
Yeah.
Yeah, as a way of gratitude.
Yeah.
But yeah. Can join in.
One student. B.
Okay, so
B.
officially it will be B. Okay, B, right? But in practice, for example, in some cultures, A will be quite a good thing, because if you choose an alternative method, the person will feel that, wow, you don't honor my gift. For example, in the Chinese culture, accepting the gift with gratitude to avoid embarrassment is the best action in the Chinese culture. Yeah, or maybe most Asian culture, because it's also about the sense of saving face. If I reject him, I say, okay, before I accept your gift, let me refer to my policy. Then the Lao Pan or the person will feel, wow, why are you like this? Why don't you just accept my gift? Yeah. Okay. So then this so what if it's not an expensive gift voucher? What if it's just a $10 popular voucher or $10 Grab voucher?
A.
That will be A. Okay. Now,
Yeah.
so this is where we can think about it, right? If it's not an expensive gift voucher, maybe it's just a $10, I don't know, Amazon voucher, something like that, right? Would it be okay? Yeah. So now the keyword here is because the gift is far beyond the usual gift token gifts. So which means that if today is a token gift, it's okay to do A. But because he have received token gift many times, but today maybe the okay, for example, if I'm coaching Dennis and then he always give me a token gift, maybe a Starbucks card or whatever. But then today he decided to give me
Laptop.
a laptop.
Wow.
Okay, far beyond. Okay, maybe it's not so significant. I mean, it's not or maybe he decided to buy me the whole Starbucks shop. I get to buy the whole thing, right? Okay, then it's something that we need to probably discuss. I say I appreciate the gift and everything.
You should still discuss or not?
I say why not we rent it out lah. We can get some rental income.
So this not accept this one still accept
This is you see coach policy ma.
Oh,
Coach policy. Yeah.
yeah,
Okay.
so cute.
Okay. So what's the worst action?
The worst action is
C.
D.
D. So one is I
Oh,
refuse.
C lah.
C? Yeah, C.
C.
So although D is also doesn't sound right, but A okay, depending on the culture. So C would be not a very good thing.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because don't mention it ma.
Yeah, because you mentioned it. But in this case, if the client is your own personal client, there's no organization, it's just your own private client, right? Then it'll be a bit of different context as well. Yeah, because maybe it's your personal client. Right? That's okay. Some clients they love to give. Yeah, some clients every time they meet you, they want to give you something, right? That's okay, right? But then that's again as part of your coaching agreement, how you want to set it up with the client. Okay, so as long as it doesn't impact your coaching relationship. So there will be another word where it says that the client loves to give you gift, and under your coaching policy, it's okay to accept gift. However, you begin to notice the client giving you the gift to influence you in a certain way. Then it will impair the coaching relationship. So I'll choose the best option that will not impair the coaching relationship. Okay, question 8. A coach is working with a client whose values and worldview are different from the coach's. The client is considering a business decision that is legal, aligns with the company policy, and is common in their industry. But it feels ethically uncomfortable to the coach personally. During the session, the coach notices internal judgment and a desire to steer the client toward what the coach believes is the right choice. The coach also feels concerned about their own reputation. If the client later asks a controversial decision and mentions the coach support their thinking, the client asks, "Do you think this makes me a bad person?" What is the best action the coach should do? A, share the coach's personal moral position to be honest and help the client choose correctly. Or B, maintain neutrality, acknowledge the client's concern and support them to examine values, impact, and responsibility without imposing the coach's views. Or C, avoid the topic and redirect the client towards a safer, less controversial goal. Or D, tell the client they are not a bad person and reassure them that they're doing fine. A, B, C, or D. What would be the best possible option?
B.
B, maintain neutrality. Okay, so B would be the best.
Yeah.
Okay, so there's the sense of acknowledgement. There's also a sense of support. There's also a sense of
Without imposing.
yeah,
Right?
without imposing. Yeah, so without imposing. So this is the keyword here. Okay, so what is the worst?
D.
D, tell the client they're not a bad person. So C and D sounds bad.
Yeah.
One is telling, one's avoiding.
Yeah.
Okay, so D, you say D. The
Oh.
worst is A. Share the coach's personal moral position to be honest and help the client choose correctly. Okay, now why A? Because it centers around the coach values rather than the client-centered ethics.
Right.
Okay. Yep. So my personal moral position it doesn't mean anything. It's about the client, right? So this is where, especially with topics where, in terms of morally, for example, let's say abortion. I may have a different moral position. Client may have a different moral position. It's not about ethics necessarily. Maybe a lot more about morality, a lot more about humanity. Like I may be a pro-life. Maybe the client may be a pro, I don't know, pro living person, right? Some people may believe that as long as it's a cell, it's a living organism. Or some people, for example, some people may agree that we should be vegetarian because killing of animals is not a good thing.
Mm.
Then another person will say, "Oh, but do you know that plants also got feelings? Even though they cannot communicate with us, but they communicate through a different means. They have feelings. The tauge got feelings. The tauge is not life. It's not plant life just as valuable as animal life." Okay, so then some people have this moral conundrum, right? So you notice when it comes to this moral position, we would just align it to the client-centered ethics or client-centered morality,
Mm.
unless of course it is too far out towards a universal morality. For example, the client believes in cannibalism, a little bit too far out, right?
Yeah.
From the common average human being, right? Some of the gray zones we can still kind of discuss with, or maybe the client is going to the extreme of believing that the earth is flat, that stretches way beyond, right, the average scope. Okay,
Mm.
so that's the worst. Okay, let's go to question 9. Okay, so this one will also come out. Huh? This is on the confidential records. A coach keeps session notes on a personal laptop and occasionally reviews them while traveling. The coach uses a note-taking app for convenience and has not enabled password protection or encryption. The coach has not experienced any security incidents and believes their laptops is unlikely to be accessed by any others. One day, the coach realizes they left the laptop unattended in a shared workspace for a short period. Nothing appears missing. The coach feels a moment of concern, but also thinks it may be unnecessary to worry since there's no evidence of a breach. What is the best action a coach should do? A, immediately, or A, improve data protection immediately, password and encryption, review storage practices and align with confidentiality obligations, or B, do nothing unless the client reports harm or the laptop is stolen, or C, delete all notes immediately to eliminate risk, or D, only secure notes for high profile or sensitive clients. A, B, C, or D.
A.
A, okay. A is the most best one because it's the most logical. Right?
Yeah.
Okay, now which is the worst?
D. I don't know.
Do nothing, delete, only secure certain notes.
Only secure certain notes. Do nothing. I don't know. Yeah, lah, D.
D, only secure notes.
B.
High profile or something.
B, let's take a look. Answer is B. Do nothing unless already you got vulnerability. You need to do something, right? So here's I did something. I did something. This I'm not doing anything.
Right.
Okay. Yep. And so for clients' data, usually what we recommend is that when you write notes, write in a way that only you understand. So even in the worst case, you encrypt, you password protect, it get leaked out. It is very hard to trace back to anything because some coaches write word for word, right? And then they lose the paper. Then jialat. Yeah. So important that we keep the records in a safe manner. Okay.
Got it.
Okay. Question 10. A coach has been working with a client for 3 months. The client begins a session by saying, "I'm not sure this coaching is working," and shares their expected faster progress. The coach feels defensive and notices an urge to justify their approach. The client adds that they are considering switching coaches, but also feels guilty because the coach has been supportive. The coach knows the client's experience matters most, but also preserve the relationship and avoid a negative impression. The coach senses the conversation could either rebuke clarity or become uncomfortable. What should the coach do? Okay, so what's the best action you think? A, explores the client's concern openly, revisit agreements and expectations, and support the client in making an informed decision about continuing or closing. Or B, explain why the coaching approach is correct and the client needs to be more patient. Or C, suggest continuing for several more sessions before making a decision. Or D, avoid discussing dissatisfaction and move into action planning to regain momentum.
A and D.
A and D.
A is best, D is worse.
Oh yeah, correct.
A
Agree.
is best. Okay, let's see. A is best. D is worse.
Yeah.
Yeah.
D is worse. Okay, you got it correct. Okay. Okay, so if
Yeah.
you got this correct, means you are on the right track.